Hello everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing a possible very good change to those receiving Social Security benefits in this video. So I'll be going over the bill that's being proposed and the chances of this passing, which I think there is a pretty good chance. I'll be going over why. Now, before we get into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Okay, so in a press release this month, the Senior Citizens League brought a question forward that I thought was quite interesting. Does the U.S. tax code discriminate against seniors? Let's see what they have to say. So it says, a new survey by the Senior Citizens League indicates that 58% of survey participants think the income thresholds that subject Social Security benefits to taxation are long overdue for an adjustment to today's dollars. Unlike income tax brackets and standard deductions, which are adjusted annually, these Social Security income thresholds have never been adjusted for inflation since benefits first became taxable almost 4 decades ago in 1984. So this is basically what they're saying. So let's go ahead and compare 2022 versus 2023 in regards to federal income tax. We can see the chart up on the screen here. So we can see that for the 10% bracket in 2022, you were only paying taxes on the first $10,275 that you earned. Now for this year's tax bracket, that got boosted up to $11,000. So now you're paying 10% on the first $11,000 you earn rather than the first $10,275. And you can see it also adjusted for 12% as well, and adjusted for 22%. Pretty much every bracket was adjusted to a higher amount because of inflation. It just makes sense. But for people receiving Social Security benefits, this was not changed since 1984. For whatever reason, these numbers were not adjusted for inflation, even though people receiving Social Security benefits were receiving cost of living adjustments every single year. So it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, according to the Senior Citizens League, and quite frankly, I have to agree. Mary Johnson said this failure to adjust the income threshold is negatively viewed by older taxpayers as a form of double taxation and even described as ageist in the comments we receive. The number of older taxpayers who pay taxes on a portion of their benefits today is far higher today than the 10% that was originally estimated to be affected by the tax in 1984 when the tax became effective. So back in 1984, only 10% of people receiving these benefits were paying taxes. Today, it's going to be about half. We're going to later find out. So Social Security recipients can owe taxes on up to 85% of their Social Security benefits when their combined income is greater than $25,000 for single filers or $32,000 for couples filing jointly. Today, about half of older households can be subject to the tax on Social Security benefits, according to a background brief by the Congressional Research Service. The number is growing as cost of living adjustments increase, Social Security benefits, and income from pensions, savings, and other sources grows over time. Had these income thresholds been adjusted like tax brackets, the $25,000 level today would be roughly $73,000, and the $32,000 level would be $93,200. The Senior Citizens League survey found that 51% of survey respondents worry they will pay more in taxes this tax season due to the 5.9% COLA received last year. That includes 1 in 5 who worry they may be subject to a tax on their Social Security benefits for the first time this tax season. The worries will continue next year due to an 8.7% COLA this year. So obviously, this is a huge problem. Again, if these were adjusted for inflation, people who file as a single taxpayer would have had their bracket lifted up to $73,000, and those who file jointly, they would have their tax bracket lifted up to $93,200 as opposed to $32,000 that it was 40 years ago. They say to determine if benefits are taxable, taxpayers should take half of their Social Security income and add it to the other income to determine provisional income. Other income includes pensions, wages, interest, dividends, and capital gains. The calculation of taxable Social Security benefits depend on the level of benefits and the amount of other non-Social Security income and can affect even those with modest incomes. So taxpayers with incomes less than $25,000 for single individuals or $32,000 for joint filers pay no federal income tax on their Social Security benefits. Now, single taxpayers with provisional income between $25,000 and $34,000 and joint filers with provisional income between $32,000 and $44,000 pay federal income tax on up to 50% of their Social Security benefits. And finally, single taxpayers with provisional income greater than $34,000 and taxpayers filing joint returns with more than $44,000 in provisional income pay federal income taxes on up to 85% of their Social Security benefits. But again, we can go back to that number where about 50% as opposed to 10% 40 years ago when this was first created are now paying taxes on benefits they already paid taxes on back when they were in the workforce. To me, that is just not fair, and I have no idea why back in the beginning in 1984, they didn't attach those two numbers to inflation. Just like on federal income taxes, we're seeing that number is rising over time, but why the number on Social Security benefits, why that number isn't rising over time as well, it's just not fair to me at all. I mean, you're working all your life, paying benefits into the system, being taxed on that, but whenever you're receiving the benefits, why are you being taxed again? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That is why one lawmaker in Washington made a bill that makes the most sense to me. Her name is Angie Craig, and she introduced a piece of legislation to eliminate federal taxes on Social Security payments. So it says Representative Craig's legislation seeks to eliminate the unjust double tax on Social Security benefits that Americans have been forced to pay for nearly 40 years. The You Earned It, You Keep It Act would repeal all the federal taxation on Social Security benefits beginning in 2023, putting money directly into the pockets of middle-class retirees. The tax cut would have no effect on the monthly benefits that enrollees receive each month and would be fully paid for by raising the cap for individuals earning more than $250,000 annually and asking them to continue paying into Social Security each year. According to a nonpartisan analysis, Craig's legislation would also improve the long-term solvency of Social Security compared to current law, ensuring that this critical retirement program is able to support American retirees for years to come. Craig's legislation is supported by Social Security Works, an organization dedicated to protecting and improving Social Security for the millions of American seniors who have earned and rely on its benefits. Now let's go ahead and pull up the bill on congress.gov, and we can see that in addition to, of course, Angie Craig supporting her own bill, we also have two other lawmakers who are co-sponsors of it. And interestingly enough, that we have one Republican and we have one Democrat. So the Republican here is Bill Posey, he's in Florida, and then we have Ro Khanna, he's a Democrat in California. So we can see here that it's gained support of both Democrats and Republicans. Why they haven't gone out and gotten even more support and even more co-sponsors of this bill, I have no idea. But I would think because Republicans are very against, very anti-taxation, that we would have a lot of Republicans on board with this bill. Democrats, I'm not so sure, but we can see that Ro Khanna in California is for this bill and repealing taxes for people receiving Social Security benefits. So I would think this could easily be a bill that they could end up passing. Now, you can see here that it was introduced back in 2022. Now that we have a new Congress in 2023, the bill would need to be reintroduced. So I think that's something Craig will eventually end up doing. And another great thing about the bill as well is that it would increase the solvency of the program past 2032. I'm not sure how long it would go, maybe another 75 years that they estimated in Bernie Sanders' bill. Now, in addition to federal income tax, believe it or not, there are actually 12 states that will tax your Social Security benefits as well. Out of those 12 states, according to the Motley Fool, we have Colorado, Connecticut, Kansas, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, New Mexico, Rhode Island, Utah, Vermont, and West Virginia. So in addition to federal income tax, if you live in one of those 12 states, it's very possible that you may pay additional state income tax as well on your Social Security benefits, which is pretty ridiculous. Now, according to AARP, there are actually 4 states that may end up cutting back on taxes on Social Security income. It may be back completely, and some states may do it on those who earn the least amount of money in their benefits. So out of those states, we have Kansas, we also have Minnesota, they've been doing that recently, Missouri, and Utah. So to me, at least, this would be really great news if we could have this bill reintroduced this year and end up passing it. Again, this is bipartisan. We have a Republican on board with the bill. We have a Democrat on board with the bill. And I think this is one piece of legislation that they could really work together on and get passed. And not only would it repeal taxes on Social Security benefits, which just makes sense because you're working all your life, paying into the system to receive your Social Security benefits. Why are you getting taxed on benefits that you've already been taxed once on? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It's completely unfair. And to me, this bill just makes completely sense. There should be no taxes, or at the very least, maybe if you're going to tax people receiving Social Security benefits, maybe you should at least raise the income threshold, because $32,000, $44,000, that's way too low. We should attach that to inflation starting back in 1984 and raise it up to say like 90,000 or whatever, where most people probably aren't going to be paying taxes on that high of a number for their Social Security benefits. So again, definitely interested in hearing your thoughts in comments below. Do you think this is a bill that should pass? Do you think this is a bill that shouldn't pass? Leave your thoughts in comments in the comments section below. But that's all the news that we have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.